Corporate headshots are an investment. It communicates our personal brand, and people are going to see it again and again in our LinkedIn profile picture, in proposals to clients, and the teleconferencing software like Skype or Microsoft Teams, where there's this round circular profile picture. So it's definitely worth investing in one for the long term. So I did some research first by looking at the profile pictures of people at a company, and I put together some of the pictures that I liked the most. But I see that the typical headshot is like this solid color background or in like some kind of office setting, but I wanted mine to have a little more character. Since I'm working as a consultant in the finance industry, I thought of shooting it in downtown. The background gives the picture a lot more character and tells a story also, like apparently telling people that, hey, I work in corporate, particularly in the finance industry. So I didn't want to come across as like being too corporate-y or like too focused on the commercial stuff by going for one of those corporate photo shoots because it gives off that kind of vibe. Instead, I have my own ideas of how I want my corporate picture to look like, and I want to express myself through my own profile picture. So I did some research first to Google what are some examples of Singapore corporate headshot, quote and unquote, to look at how other people do it for some inspiration. So I first came across this photo of this woman, and I love how the background has this water body, and I think it reflects what I believe into, like in an open mind, and this be like water Bruce Lee kind of character that makes me adaptable in any situations that I face, and I hope to be like that. But as I look at it again, I think that Marina Bay Sands as a backdrop is a little too touristy, and it's a hotel anyway, right? Not really representing financial services. I also thought of like having a natural backdrop with trees and greenery behind me, but after seeing this example image here, I think it's a little odd for a guy wearing a suit standing in a park as if I work for, national parks or something. Another idea I had was like standing in the middle of a busy street with leading lines pointing towards me and lots of like people walking behind me, which is okay for an idea, but I actually don't really like, having such a very busy looking background, as I prefer to have like a cleaner looking backdrop. So I came across this photo that nailed it for me. It has the financial district in the background to represent what I work for, and a large water body in the bottom half signifying a fluid and open culture, and I think this picture is just perfect for me. Next, I have to locate where exactly is this location, because he can't be standing on a boat or standing on water or something, right? So just by looking up Google Maps, I found out that it has to be outside Esplanade along the boardwalk. And a few things I would change also about this picture is that I wouldn't want to stand right in front of the Fullerton Hotel, but I need a tight close-up shot of me, to put in my display picture, usually like a circle shape. And I like this one particularly because it's got a very nice blend of office buildings, a little bit of greenery, and the bottom half of it is like this water body along Marina Bay. So previously I actually took my own profile picture on social media for my own personal photo shoot too, and I like the result. So this time I thought of trying something outdoors. Okay, so we're here at the skyline, and it looks like this area is temporarily closed for some reason. I think they're upgrading something, but I hope I can just go over to the other side and maybe find another spot, similar spot where I can get the same photo. Just gonna go over there. So it's a pretty sunny weather today, partially cloudy also. Looks like there is another spot here where I can take the photo. Yes, so luckily this area is still open. So I think this is a pretty good spot where I can get that photo. Now, I think I'm right. It's the morning sun, as you can see. This building over here, there's this shadow over here. The sun is coming right from behind over there, and it's casting the light over there. Okay, so I'm going to set up my tripod right now and take a few test shots, and let's see how this goes. I'm trying to use the little kind of shade that I have. Yeah, so the sun is out right now and it's kind of challenging. I don't think I will have enough cover to do. So you can see the shade here is like completely gone already. Yeah, and then there's like this ramp over here. So yeah, I think it'll be a challenge to set the camera straighten up. So yeah, I got my tripod set up over here. And I have a ball head right here so that I can pivot it to shoot vertically. And what I have here, the lens I have here is an 18 to 105. So typically we want to shoot portrait shots at a long focal length. That's what I see many people on the internet advise on portrait shots. And what I got here is also a polarizer, so that you can get rid of the glass off the water body and also the glass windows. Then I used my camera's mobile app as a remote control to take the shots. It was just a little awkward at first, like oops, less than 10% battery left, better hurry up. And I got into like this half squat position as my tripod isn't tall enough, and then I pressed the button on my phone to take the shot. But I forgot to get my phone out of the frame, so I tried again, moving closer and trying all sorts of like weird positions to get the frame right. Yeah, immediately I felt the difference of having the benefit of a real person to frame the shot for you while you can stand naturally. Otherwise, I would have to fit myself into a fixed frame. It was already 9 AM and I kind of like missed the golden hour between 7 AM to 8 AM due to a very last minute decision for me to rush down for this shoot, and the sun is like shining brightly. But luckily, there is some cloud cover and this shelter too to block out some of the sun, to soften the light a bit and to create more interesting looking images. Taking a photo.
Taking a photo.
Yeah. Just as about I was leaving, then two ATOS officers approached me and asked me whether I'm taking photos or videos, and apparently permission is required from the Esplanade management to take videos especially. So yeah, I'm just gonna head back and write into them just to make sure I get a written permission. I think these days it's really important to make sure that all footage is cleared by any management, because things can go viral easily on social media these days for the right or wrong reasons. Okay, so right now I'm back home already and I've already looked through the photos that I've taken, and I've filtered down those photos that I like the most. As you can see, that most of these photos, they look kind of dark, but I can bring it up in post-production, which will make it look a little nicer. So the ones that I like the most, I have starred them, and I'm just going to use Photoshop to adjust the exposure and the color balance and all that kind of stuff. So I like these two buttons over here because they can just do it automatically for me, and I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, so I think it did a pretty good job to bring down the highlights, which is the brighter part of the image, which is obviously the background, and bring up the shadows, which would be mostly on my face, because generally we want our face to look brighter than the background so that we stand out more than the background. Yeah, so I would agree with this with this automatic settings. It's just that I might want to bring up the exposure a bit more. Yeah, just make sure there's no clipping. Okay, there's just a bit of clipping over here, but I think it's fine. I think I still like the image to look a little brighter like this. Yeah, so I think it looks pretty good. And I'm just going to do the same for the other photos that I've shortlisted. So yeah, it looks pretty good. So like it's like from before to after. Yeah, Photoshop is pretty good. So this one had a little bit of a sun exposure on my face, and the sun is already quite high up in the sky, so it's already causing some raccoon eyes, as you can see over here. But after bringing it up in post, I think it still looks okay. It's just that it might be a bit too much shadow for my liking. Yeah, so so yeah, by the time I was there, it was already like 9 AM, and I was doing this from 9 AM to 10 AM. Actually, the best time to do it is probably from 7 AM to 8 AM, just after the sun has risen. Because if I look at how the pros did it again, obviously we can see that the light is very soft, and there is this golden shine on the face as well, and that definitely must come from the sun itself. So if I were to do it again, I probably would go there earlier to get this kind of look. Framing wise, I think mine is a little too big. Like my head is a bit too big, so I shot this vertically because I flipped the camera vertically, and I think I should stand back a little more, just a bit more, so that I can fit my face in there just a bit better. Yeah, so I think the guideline is to have like at least 2 button shirts over here. Mine is like 1 button. Okay, two buttons, but at the wrong place. I think I should stand back a bit more just so that the photo looks a bit more well balanced. The background blur is probably too aggressive for my liking in this professional shot. And actually, I don't think it will be possible with this lens over here, because this one can only stop down to f4. Basically the aperture, the lower the aperture, the blurrier the background. Yeah, but mine is just a crop sensor, and I think it still looks pretty good. I like the blur. It's not too blurry like in Fantasyland, but it still looks pretty good. One thing I would love to see though is to have some catch light in the eyes. I mean, catch light refers to this shiny shine in the eyeballs. Mine, not exactly there. So you can see my whole eye is just round black circle. Having catch light will make it look so much more attractive, and that has to come from the sun shining into my eyes. Unfortunately, the sun was already quite high up, so I couldn't get that catch light effect. So yeah, and one more thing I would like to see is also, I think this photo is pretty well balanced, because his head is above the water and his body is just, his shoulders is just right at the water level. So I think it looks pretty good. We probably don't want the head to be like in the water because it makes it look smaller compared to the buildings. Neither would you want to be too high above, because you would diminish the effect of the water body. I think mine is still okay, but I think over here is just the bridge. I can't see enough of the water. For the landscape one, I think this is pretty well balanced. Though I don't really like, the shoulders one is lower than the other. It's kind of not so well balanced, but I think overall it's still a pretty good attempt. I'm not sure whether I balanced it properly. I thought I did, but the buildings behind look kind of slanted. Yeah, but for this one it's okay. This one is also a bit slanted. This one's a bit slanted. So yeah, I probably might need to straighten it out a bit more in post. But I think my spectacles are also a little slanted. But yeah, I think all these are just minor things that probably shouldn't get too bothered about, because I'm not necessarily a perfectionist. Just want to get it done. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good attempt to create a professional headshot. So thanks for watching this video of me taking my corporate headshot. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I look forward to see you in my next video.